Hi, this is Adrian.
And I'm Carrie.
And for this episode of the Scent Library, we are going to talk about 8 bottles of car brand fragrances.
Yep.
So, bottles of perfume designed by car manufacturers.
Maybe not so much designed by the car manufacturers, but the car manufacturers lent their name to the perfumers.
Okay, there you go. Branded
Yeah.
by car manufacturers.
Right. So a big thing in getting a new fragrance line off the ground, a lot of times it just comes down to getting publicity and getting some brand recognition. So what better way than to get a luxurious, well-recognized car brand to loan you their name, like Ferrari, Bentley, Mercedes. I don't know if there's Rolls Royce or not, but something like that. That's like such a luxury thing that everybody all over the world knows about it. And while most of us can't have a piece of that, you can feel kind of like you get a little piece of the excitement by owning a fragrance that's named after that, or at least that's kind of the idea. But it really comes down to just the name recognition of the car brand. And then people will associate that, or they'll recognize it and think, oh, Bentley, that's quality. I guess, I'll try that fragrance. And sometimes it turns out to be pretty good and you get a really great fragrance. Sometimes not so much. But these 3 brands that we're going to talk about today actually all have pretty good stuff. So starting off with the first one is Bentley Intense for men. Bentley is actually a subsidiary of Lalique.
Oh.
So they have a really good perfumer already behind them, which explains a lot when you start looking at the quality of their fragrances. This one, Bentley for Men Intense, came out in 2013. And the top notes of this are black pepper, bergamot, middle notes rum, wood notes cinnamon, clary sage, geranium, and base notes of incense, leather, benzoin, patchouli, and cedar. This one has a really nice scent profile to it. And I think this one is probably one of their most versatile fragrances. It can be a day or an evening, an office or a casual fragrance, good for most occasions, and it's a really high quality fragrance. When you wore this one, what were your thoughts on this one?
I like the rum.
The rum really is nice. Yeah, I think for me, the things that I like about it are the hint of the cinnamon and the incense. I really kind of like those notes and things. It's a well-rounded fragrance, so it doesn't smell kind of blurry or something like some cheaper fragrances do. Now, in the lines of fragrances, is this one a cheapie? Not at all. Nope. It's very affordable most of the time from discounters, not so much if you go into a retailer, but it's usually available through discounters at somewhere around like $50 to $60 or so. So not a cheapie, but it's a real good value for what you're paying and stuff. It's kind of on the lines, I would say, of quality of things like Ralph Lauren. So kind of a nice designer quality type of a fragrance. Okay, so we'll move on to another Bentley fragrance, and this one is Bentley for Men Absolute. This one, as the bottle suggests, is maybe a little bit more of an evening fragrance. Yeah, this one is really nice. It has notes of pink pepper, ginger, olibanum, sandalwood, cedar, oud, and amber. What do you think of this one?
Woody and oody.
Yeah. The oudy notes are nice. They're not an offensive oud, so it's a real easy wearable oud, and this one has a nice scent trail to it. I think this one's a little more formal than the Bentley for Men Intense. Probably more of an evening scent, and maybe a cool weather, but not necessarily cold weather scent. So what are your thoughts on that one as far as how well you liked it?
Oh, I like it. I like fragrances that has oud in it.
Yeah.
And this one does not have rose. So that's like makes it not as common.
Yeah, a lot of the rose oud thing starts to feel pretty much all the same after a while. And a lot of
Yes.
fragrances early in the oud phases of fragrances for the last 10 years or so, they all jumped on the oud and rose bandwagon, which is a very Middle Eastern sort of a blend. But after a while, it seemed like they all kind of just melted in together.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to move on to another Bentley. Now notice the bottle's a lot different on this one. One thing that is kind of common amongst the car brand fragrances is that they introduce a few different lines after things take off. This is one of their higher quality and higher price tag lines. This one is kind of an aromatic line, and this one is Wild Vetiver. This one is pricier than the others. It's probably priced along the lines of Ralph Lauren, but even at discount, this one is probably a little on the higher side, around high 80s or something when you can find it. This one is a linear fragrance, and it has vetiver, verbena, birch, pepper, bergamot, and amberwood. When you wore this one, what would you say that this one is like best worn for? The
Spring.
spring?
Yes.
I agree. I think it's a cooler weather, but not cold. And spring does seem to be kind of the appropriate one for this. It has a sort of a greenness and a sort of a bright, sunny feel to it.
Yes. The vetiver and the birch combination.
Yeah, it almost feels like spring where everything is opening up and all the scents and stuff are coming out of it. So we're going to move on now to Ferrari. Now, Ferrari was one of the first of the car brands to loan its name, and things took off pretty well for it. Ferrari has about 37 perfumes out on the market. They came in to the fragrance lines around 1999. Their newest fragrance is from about 2017, so they haven't released anything new in the real recent years, but this is one of their newer ones. This one is from a line of aromatics that also includes like some lavender and neroli and I think a lime or something. But this one is Noble Fig, and I just love this one.
Yeah, you can definitely smell the fig leaf.
Yes. It's not a fig like the fig in Luminous Night, where it's like the kind
Dates.
of the dates. It's the fig leaf. The notes in this one are fig leaf, mandarin, pink pepper, clary sage, iris to give it a nice kind of a powdery feel to some of the notes, and then musk and patchouli. One of the things I like about this one is how distinct the notes are in it. It has a real edge to a lot of the notes where you can smell the different notes. Sometimes that gets lost in some fragrances, but this one you can actually kind of pick out several of the different things, and I like that a lot in this one. Okay, moving on to another really good one. This is a little bit more recent. This is 2017, and this is called Scuderia Ferrari Forte. And this is an eau de parfum strength. It came out in 2017.
Pretty strong.
Yeah. And it has top notes of pineapple, Italian lemon, plum, cinnamon, orange blossom, vanilla, patchouli, and cedar. What are your thoughts on this one?
The pineapple and plum combination is pretty good.
Yeah. Plum is a more recently hit on note and stuff that a lot of perfumers are starting to take off on in the last couple years or so. This one is done nicely. The pineapple is not an Aventus type of pineapple.
No.
It's fairly subdued, but it's in there and it's kind of nice and supporting the plum. I would say the plum comes out the most in that. And once again, one of the things I like about this one is when you smell it, the notes are kind of defined. You can actually pick out several different notes from it fairly distinctly. So, really good for them to have hit on combinations that work like that. Now we're going to move on to another car brand, Mercedes. This is an earlier one of their line. They started in 2012 putting out perfumes. They have about 45 different perfumes out
Wow.
on the line. Some for women, some unisex, some, designed more for men. This one I would say is probably unisex, even though they probably aimed
Marketed
this
for
one
men.
more for men. But I think it has a kind of a light cologne type of a feel to it. It is an eau de toilette, but it has a nice fresh cologne feel to it that I think is really appropriate to like spring and summery types of things.
More like summer.
Yeah, very light feel to it, but the notes actually come through pretty well. And while it is sort of light, and you probably only last maybe 4 to 6 hours, more along the 4 hour side, it's inexpensive enough you can keep applying it and stuff to keep it freshened up, and it's a really nice fresh smell for like the warmer weather.
And it's called Mercedes Benz.
Mercedes Benz by Mercedes Benz. Their creativity was running high on the day that this one needed a name. Top notes of bergamot, lemon, mandarin, orange, and middle notes of violet, pepper, nutmeg, and galbanum, and base notes of vetiver, cedar, and patchouli. So let me have a sniff on that one to remind myself. Yeah, it's a nice light, airy sort of a fragrance and stuff. It reminds me of being kind of on a balcony or something and stuff out by the sea and feeling the sea breezes and the nice smells from the sea. Not skanky stuff like seaweed and stuff, but driftwood and sun on trees and stuff like that. Very nice sunny sort of a fragrance. Pretty inexpensive to pick up some of these from Mercedes. Others get a little bit pricier depending on how popular they are at the time. But all three of these that we're going to talk about from Mercedes, usually you can pick them up on discounters for anywhere from $30 to $80.
Oh.
Okay. We're going to move into one now that probably is Mercedes' most popular fragrance right now that they have out. This is Mercedes Benz Club Black. It's an eau de toilette strength. And this one, if you had to give one word for this fragrance, what would it be?
Gourmand.
Yeah. And what does it smell like to you?
Baked goods.
Yeah, it smells really like good, sort of like sweet baked goods. This one came out in 2017. It has top note of bergamot, but this is really all about the base notes. The middle notes are incense and jasmine, and base notes are vanilla, benzoin, woody notes, and ambroxan. The ambroxan kind of hit me as strange when I first was looking at this one, but I think it's to help push the base notes early on. And you get from the very beginning this sort of a baked goods sort of a smell and stuff like cinnamon rolls or something like that, and good bread. This one's a really nice one. What would you wear this for?
Wear it during evening.
Yeah, I think it's an evening scent, maybe a date night scent.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if I would wear this for an office scent or something like that. It seems a little bit more gourmand than I would do for that, but hey, you do you.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we'll move on to the last one that we've got from Mercedes-Benz, and the last one for the ones we're going to talk about today. This is from a line that Mercedes-Benz came out with called Select, and this is Select Day.
Yes.
I think they've got some select other parts of the day, like evening and stuff like that too, but this is the one we're going to talk about, and it's Day. It was launched in 2020. And it has a fairly simple note breakdown, and it feels like light and sunny, kind of like the first one that we talked about from Mercedes. It has top notes of citrus and sage, middle notes of sea notes, green notes and spices, base notes of woody notes. So they're pretty non-specific in the notes and stuff, which probably means it's aroma chemicals and not a lot of natural ingredients. But in your thoughts, how does this one come off?
The citruses and the sea notes make it smell like marine.
Yeah.
And
but not like in a seaweed or barnacles sort of a way. No, very fresh, very
fresh,
very like tropical sea breezes type of a way. Very sunny and clean and.
Yes, that's why it's called Day, because I would wear it during summer and like when it's warm.
Yeah. I think this is like a good one you can wear casually and stuff. You can wear this one to the gym because it's not overpowering, but it
Yeah.
smells clean and fresh. You can wear it as a, real casual scent to go out to lunch or something with people. It makes a nice office scent because it's not overpowering, but, when someone's fairly close in and stuff, arm's length away or something, that it's pretty noticeable, but not overpowering or offensive. So that does it for the ones that we're going to talk about today.
Yes.
There are a lot of other flankers to some of these lines, so definitely check some of those out. Look at the note lineup and see which ones might be appropriate for you. Price on most of these is pretty accessible on discounter websites and stuff. So take a look at them, and thanks for tuning in.
Okay, till next time. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.